To all the buyers in the place with different tastes, allow me to explain the concept of PED. You see, demand reacts differently to change in price. There's an equation that can be really precise. The PED equals percentage change in price. Are you still listening to our device? Good, cause that's divided by percentage change in demand. By now you should really understand. But why is it important to elasticity? You see, if it's less than 1, it is inelastic. But more than 1 and less than infinity, and that good is elastic.
What determines this demand elasticity? It's got to do with substitutes, time, and income spent. If it's addictive or if it's a necessity, inelastic demand is very steep, and elastic one is just really flat. Is there something else before you fall asleep? It's the PES, same equation as the PED. It will involve supply, as you will see.
And it's really that easy. Numbers and equations, curves and formulations. I love it when it's really that easy. Numbers and equations, curves and formulations. I love it when it's really that easy. Numbers and equations, curves and formulations. And elastic is still very flat, but what changes is what makes it that. What determines the supply elasticity? It's got to do with time and spare capacity. Two more things that we must define. It's the CED, read between the lines. It's the relationship between two goods. Some complement, some substitute. It helps firms understand what they gotta do. Thing we say before we end this rhyme is the YED, involving buying over time. If YED is positive, demand increases. As your income gets larger, the good is normal. If YED is negative, demand decreases. And it's really that easy. Numbers and equations, curves and formulations. I love it when it's really that easy. Numbers and equations, curves and formulations. I love it when it's really that easy. Numbers and equations, curves and formulations. If YED is positive and more than 1, it's elastic and demand will respond. If YED is positive and less than 1, it's inelastic and you buy some other supply. With elasticity we can analyze a thing or two, like revenue, GDP and agricultural goods, taxes, subsidies, and what firms should do. When someone says, how do you know all that? Remember, you heard it from the kings of rap.